All right, friends, Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos.
Shabbos to you.
It is the first Shabbos of September, and apparently this is the weekend where summer unofficially ends, right? This is Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
And so summer will be officially over, but not really. It doesn't end until the 22nd of September, the first day of autumn, which is always a nice day. Thankfully, we made it through a summer. Not so bad this year. It wasn't so bad.
Thank God, yeah, it's been very good.
Yeah, I mean, it could be worse. It could be worse, but not so bad, not so bad. And it was quite a nice day here, albeit really warm out there today. It was, or maybe it was just cutting the grass. I don't know, but it felt pretty warm out there. But it was a beautiful day. Sat on the porch for a little bit. There was a nice breeze. And so, summer is the unofficial end of summer seems to be leaving us gracefully. All right, it is Shabbat and counting down to the high holidays, a little under a month. So they will be here. It's like Passover, you could deny it. You can say no, but they will be here before we know it. And so that's a nice thing. That is a nice thing. So who wants to light candles?
You want to? I guess I can.
Brenda.
It's a mitzvah. It's not. It's. Yes, I can. I maybe will. I won't. I don't know.
We always go for a mitzvah.
Then Dennis, next time you light them.
I was gonna say, what's wrong with these guys?
Nothing.
Be
Nothing.
careful.
Okay, how do I do this? Do I light the candles first?
Mm-mm.
Nope.
I read first?
Mhm.
Okay.
No, actually, you can light them first. You can light them first.
That's fine.
You gotta push some up top. You gotta push that forward. There.
All right, that's right.
Child-proof.
Only a child can use it.
Exactly. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, just do the blessing, the Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu v'chadlik mirshav Shabbat.
All right. Thank you. All right. Let's continue. Let's have a responsive reading on page 9. Page 9 at the top. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain.
On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share.
There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted.
On Shabbat, we stand and wonder before the mystery of creation.
There are days when we act as if we care nothing for the rights of others.
On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal.
So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. Now let's begin welcoming Shabbat with some song on page 20. Lecha David, brought to us from the Mekubalim, the Kabbalists, in the holy and mysterious city of Tzfat in the Galil. Top of 20. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikavila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikavila. Shamor zachor b'dibor echad, Yishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shmaho echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'litila, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikavila. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki mekor ha'bracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila, lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikavila. מקדש מלך ימלוכה, ומצאי מתוך אפיך, רגלך שבט בימי חבך, והוא יחמול עלי חמלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, התנערי מעפר קומי, רגשי פקדי תפארתך בי, על יד בן ישי בית הלחמי, קורבן אל נפשי גאלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לא תמושי ולא תקומי, מה תשתוכחי מה תהמי, בך יחסו עניי עמי, ונפנתה ירעלתי לה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, והיו לשבשה שוסייך, ורחקו כל מבלייך, יסיס עלייך אלוהייך, כי המסוס חתן על כלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני תעריצי, על יעריש בן ארצי, ונהי שמחה ונגילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, בואי בשלום עטרת כלה, גם בשמחה ובשולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי כלה, בואי כלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. On page 22, we find some verses from Psalm 92, which is the psalm for Shabbat. And let's read the top paragraph together, the outdented paragraph in English, and then we'll sing Tzadik Katamar together. A song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night. With the 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together. You have gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai. How very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. Tzadik katamar yifrach. Keres balvanon yiske shetuli bebeit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu. O Jenu B'Seva, B'Shenim B'Rahananim, Yiyu Lehagi, Ki Ashar Adonai, Suri Velo Haplatapo. And we'll begin to wrap up Kabbalat Shabbat on page 24 with Shalom Aleichem, welcoming the angels who come to spend Shabbat with us. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharim, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zeichem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. All right, we are ready to continue with the Arvit service, the evening service for Shabbat, often also called Ma'ariv. The evening service, we're on the top of page 146, Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Let's read together on page 147, the English for the first bracha, the first blessing before Shema. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish, but your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you, and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv Aravim. Top of 148. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Hafta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al Kein Adonai Eloheinu V'shoftenu u'vkumeinu Nasiach b'chukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam ha'ed. Ki heim chayenu v'yorech yameinu v'yorech yameinu u'bahem negeh yomam v'layla yomam v'layla ve'ahavatecha tasim mimeni le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol vavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al vanecha v'shinatam vanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. On the top of 151, let's read, it's not the top of, in the middle of 151, let's read responsibly. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all.
Yet that oneness salutes our Christ, as in perfection and evil abound.
Before our eyes, there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness.
There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul.
When will redemption come?
When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves.
Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High.
We learned God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom.
Top of 152. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha neder b'kodesh, nahora te'ilo, ohosei fele, malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokeyam lifnei Moshe, zeili anu v'yamruhu, Adonai yimloch li'olam va'ed, v'ne'emar kifad Adonai et Yaakov, uga'alo miyad chazak mimenu, baruch atah Adonai ka'am Yisrael. Top of page 153. Ashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'ha'amideinu shomreinu l'chaim. Ashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'ha'amideinu shomreinu l'chaim. And let's read together on the bottom of 153. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we will find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Top of page 154, verses from the book of Shemot, from the book of Exodus. Not Shabbat without it, Vishamru. Top of 154. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael, et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, le'dorotam b'rit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael, et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, le'dorotam b'rit olam. Beini u'bein b'nei Yisrael, ohoti li'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael, et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, le'dorotam b'rit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, et ha-shamayim v'et ha'aretz, Vishamru Bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Ledorotam Berito Olam Ubayom Hashri'i Shabbat Vayinafash Shabbat Vayinafash Shabbat Vayinafash Vishamru Bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Ledorotam Berito Olam. We are at the central prayer of our evening service, the central prayer of the tradition, actually the Amidah. And we'll begin it together on 155, and then 156 and 157 we'll chant together. Then we'll go silent. You can finish the Amidah reading the Hebrew, the English translation, or offering up your own prayer at that time. But we'll begin together on 155. Adonai sifatai tiftach, u'viyadi tehilatecha. Adonai sifatai tiftach, u'viyadi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu V'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. El Hagadol, Hagibor, Hadorah, El Yahod, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei HaKol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot Leimahot, Umevi Oel B'neihem, Leman Shemo V'Ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach Umagi, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Yizrak Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Meitim Atarav L'Hoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaTov, Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayei Meitim B'Rachamim Rabim, Sohomech Noflim V'Rofech Oholim, Umatir Hasurim, Umekayim Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha V'Kivurot, Umidol Melech, Melech Mimit, Umechayim, Umatzliach Yeshua. V'ne'eman atah l'chayot metim, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayei hametim. All right, let's continue on the middle of page 160. 160, let's read together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, v'kadesh hashabbat. Page 163, let's read responsibly. A little bit of hoda'ah, a little bit of thanksgiving and some gratitude. For the good in us which calls us to a better life, we give thanks.
For the
Thank
strength
you
of
for the
the
world,
world,
our hearts and our hands, we
we offer
offer
praise.
The desire in us which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful.
For life and nature, harmony and beauty, for the hope of tomorrow.
Well, let's close out on 164 with a prayer for peace. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Hamcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Hamcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Hamcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Hamcha Tasim Le'olam. V'tov beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Hamcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Hamcha Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. And at the bottom, praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamerech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom. Jump ahead to 253, the Misha Berach, one of several types of Misha Berach prayers, asking God for blessing. And if you have anyone who needs some healing, please, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, keep them close to your thoughts and in your heart as we prepare for Misha Berach. Misha Berach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Turn to pages 258 and 259, prayers of our community, prayer for the congregation. Judy.
Source of all being, may the children of this community learn the passions from us, the love of Torah, devotion in prayer, and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy.
Baruch atah Adonai, sholtecha levacha b'yirah na'avod. Mari, prayer for our community, please.
Thus says Adonai, this is what I desire, to unlock the fetters of wickedness and untie the cords of lawlessness, to let the oppressed go free, to break off every yoke, share your bread with the hungry, and take the wretched poor into your home. When you see the naked, give clothing, and do not ignore your own kin. If you banish the yoke from your midst, the menacing hand, the evil speech, if you offer compassion to the hungry and satisfy the famished creature, then your light shall shine in darkness.
Thank you. Shalu Shalom Yerushalayim, Yishlayu Ohavayich. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. Avinu Shabashamayim, Tzur Yisrael V'Goalo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael, Reishit Tzmichat Ulatenu, Hagen Aleha B'Yavrat Chasdecha, Ufros Aleha Sukat Shlomecha, Ushlach Orcha V'Amitecha L'Rasheha Soreha V'Yoetzeha, V'Takneim V'Eitzah Tova Milfanecha, V'Natata Shalom Ba'aretz, V'Simchat Olam Liyoshveha, V'Namar Amen. Dennis, how about on the prayer for Israel?
O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the drawing of hope for all who seek peace. Shield is beneath the wings of your love, spread over it a canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guarding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fulfillment of joy for all who dwell there. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right, friends, Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos.
Shabbos.
All right, Parshat Shoftim. We are rolling through the book of Deuteronomy. Ultimately, will end us at Simchat Torah. So we are starting to enter the second half of the book. And this week, the name or the word Shoftim means judges. Judges, as in a court of law. And Moshe is commanded to appoint judges, or Bnei Yisrael, the children of Israel, are commanded to appoint judges and legal officials to carry out justice in the society. And the justices are to show no partiality, whether you are a rich person or a poor person, whether you're considered a macher or not. Macher is a technical term for a big shot. You know that from the Yiddish. Or whether you're a small fry, and you're not to accept bribes, no bribes. And one of the most famous verses from the Torah comes out of this week's reading, Tzedek Tzedek Tirdof, right? That you shall pursue justice or pursue righteousness. And the doubling, the Tzedek Tzedek, the doubling of that noun Tzedek, or righteousness or justice, is that we are to pursue justice in a just way. Right, so no planting of evidence, right? No, what do they call them? Coerced confessions, right? You do it the right way. You do it justly. The issue of the death penalty comes up, and you need two witnesses. One is not enough. If somebody is accused of a capital crime and there is only one witness, that capital case is dismissed. You need two witnesses, two or more witnesses, but the minimum is one. The minimum is two. You can have more, but the minimum is two. And if you are a giver of false testimony, if you lie to get somebody in trouble, you are punished. And some rabbis say in the same way that you were hoping that other person would get punished. So a little bit of karma comes back. If the case is too complex, you bump it up to the next higher court, and that is made up of priests and or judges. Again, Moshe reminds us, don't set up places for idol worship, and we don't we don't worship the sun or the moon. When we enter the land, now this is this goes into when and where the book of Deuteronomy was written. But when you enter into the land, it's said that we may choose a monarchy. We may choose a human king to be our leader. And this later plays out in, I don't know if it's Joshua or in First Kings. I don't remember where it plays out. But God says, why do you want a king? Why do you want an earthly king? That person's only going to treat you poorly. And Bnei Yisrael answers, well, all the other kingdoms have an earthly king. Why can't we have one? And God would say, but I'm your king. And they say, yes, but we can't see you and they can see their king. Come on, we want an earthly king. So we're not allowed to have a foreigner. No foreigner is allowed to sit on the throne. That doesn't work well in the Second Temple period for us. And he's not to have too many horses, and that means he's not to have too much stuff that takes his mind off of ruling the people. Moshe restates the Levites, the tribe from which Moshe and Aharon spring, will get no land. They will be taken care of by the people. They will be taken care of by donations. We are to stay away from soothsayers, diviners, sorcerers, people who claim to communicate with the dead and things like that. So horoscopes are out. Fortune tellers are out. We're to banish them. They're not to be allowed in our midst. Be aware of false prophets who will rise. Moshe says there will be prophets who come after him, and some of them will try to sell you a load of malarkey, and so be aware of them. If you commit manslaughter, you will have the refugee cities, the cities of refuge to go to await trial, and then if you are found to have committed accidental manslaughter, you can live there until the death of the high priest. War is covered here because they know they're going to be getting ready to fight a war or a series of war, and they're told, don't be afraid, don't fear, God will be with you, and you are exempt, right? Bnei Yisrael exempts the following people from going to war: the person who builds a new home but has not yet dedicated it, the person who has planted a vineyard but not yet harvested it, someone who is engaged but not married. Those three, the rabbis teach us, if they are sent to war, their mind is going to be elsewhere. The guy who builds a new house, I didn't even get to move in the house and now I have to go fight. The guy who plants the vineyard, same thing. And the person who was just betrothed becomes engaged. He's there. I could be getting married right now, but I am sitting here having this war. And so the Torah says those three people are exempt until after they dedicate, harvest, or are married. And then the person who is anxious and or afraid, which would pretty much, I think, make up everybody who would have to go to war, they would be anxious and or afraid, they are exempt as well. If you capture a city, or when you capture a city, you don't cut down its fruit trees. You can eat their fruit, but you don't cut them down. They're not human, the Torah tells us. They can't run away from you. So don't take your axes to them. However, if they are non-fruit-bearing trees, you can cut them down to use to make weapons to siege the city. And the Torah portion closes with an odd case. There is a dead body found in a field between two cities, and they don't know who killed him. It's obviously that he was murdered. And so the city nearest, they will measure out, and the city nearest will send out people, and they say, we will take responsibility. They will slaughter a calf, or they will break the neck of a bull, and then they will bury the body. And they will say, we will take responsibility. Somebody should have been watching over this person. He should not have been murdered. And we feel that it is our responsibility. Keeping track of the mitzvot, 14 positive, 14 things that were commanded to do, 27 that were commanded not to do, for a grand total of 41 mitzvot in this parsha. And there you have it, your parsha in a nutshell, the Torah portion in a nutshell. All right, so it is the first of the month, and it is traditionally Ask the Rabbi. And I'm glad somebody reminded me of that because I had forgotten, thinking that, of course, the first of the month was last week with the Hebrew month. But somebody sent me a question, and it's apropos to the time of year that we're in. And they said, Rabbi, in Judaism, is there a proper way to apologize? If so, how do I do it? And is it the same for all year or just for the high holidays? And that is a good question, right? Is there a way to apologize? Well, that is one of the most profound of our human interactions, an apology. Someone who is apologizing, whether you are the apologizer or the apologizee, that is one of the most profound of our human interactions. People don't like to offer apologies. And, psychologists have said, well, they fear of looking small, fear of losing face, or they're just plain ashamed of what they have done. But apologies have a profound power to heal. They can heal humiliations, they can heal and remove grudges. And I think more importantly, it removes the desire for revenge. I'm going to get back at this person. Somehow I'm going to get back at this person. And it generates a true apology, generates forgiveness. And it's an encounter between two people. One of the deepest encounters we can have. The offender, the person who has caused the problem, accepts responsibility. Right? So, and part of the answer to the question, how do you apologize, is that you accept responsibility. And you feel remorse. You're sorry about it. Right? The great philosopher Maimonides, in 2 weeks, we'll be having a class on this, where he will teach us how to do tshuva, how to do what we call return, right? What we talk about all through the high holidays, this idea of accepting responsibility, feeling remorse. And then the second person, right? So it's not just the person who is the offender who has a role in this. The person who's been offended, the person who has been hurt, has to be willing to listen. Because if they're not willing to listen, the apology, no matter how sincere, falls on deaf ears, and that leads to a kind of frustration. Basically, what an apology boils down to is, I was wrong, and it's not your fault. Right? So 2 steps to an apology. First and foremost, you realize that you've done something wrong, and you feel bad about it, and you take ownership of it. Now, the problem that most apologies often fail is that they're not really genuine. They can be vague. Well, sorry for whatever I did. That's not really an apology, right? Because you need to know the specific, right? Passive. Mistakes may have been made. I may have made a mistake. I may have done something to offend you. Conditional. If I had done a mistake, if I had made a mistake, right? And we've all heard these from people, right? And it doesn't, as soon as I hear somebody starting to talk like that, whether it's directed, the apology is coming to me or coming to someone else, I kind of shut down a little bit. And especially if it's going to someone else, because I don't want to hear. Questioning the damage, if anyone was hurt, suggesting that maybe no one was hurt and that the person who says that they were hurt isn't. Minimizing the offense, there's really nothing to apologize for. And the empathetic ones were, I'm sorry you're angry or hurt, right? And that puts the blame, it's like, well, you're feeling this and I'm sorry you're feeling this. So there you go. right? None of those are opening for good apologies, right? It's like the Facebook apology. It's the online apology that you'll start to see on Facebook if you're still on Facebook. To all my Facebook friends, if I have offended you at all this year, I am sorry. If you do those Facebook kind of apologies, please don't let me know, because they're not really apologies. Because you've now put the onus on the people that you're asking forgiveness from. Right? If I have hurt you, well, now I have to sit and think, well, did this person hurt me? Right? If it's a true apology, you know what you've done wrong. And if you don't, and you know somebody's upset at you, you need to find out why. Right? So none of these generic things. So that's another way of what the tradition teaches us, is that if you have an apology, it is a specific apology. It is not a blanket one. We have to face the music, right? Doing it on Facebook? No, that's like doing it over the phone, right? Or doing it through, a text, right? I'm sure that there's some validity to that kind of apology, but you have to face the person. You have to be able to look at them and say, this is what I've done, and I'm sorry for it. You need to be specific. You need to be honest, and you need to be willing to listen. Because the harm you've done, the pain you've caused, might be more than you had anticipated. Maybe more than you even thought. So the month of Elul, which we are now in the midst of, that leads to Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, these are the days of atonement. These are the days where we repair relationships. We need to be aware of how we make people feel. Not my intention is often what we hear. Everyone does it. Everyone says it. Also what we hear. Not excuses. My pops, my father, had a great relationship with him, except when he was trying to teach me a moral lesson, because then I thought I knew always better than he. And he would make me apologize. And even if I didn't want to. And basically what he said is, the reason you need to apologize is that's how adults behave. You want to be a child for the rest of your life? Be a child, but you'll never be an adult. Adults apologize when they're wrong. That makes them helps them to become a better person. It's how adults behave. A lot of people like the last word. In an argument, in a discussion, if you want the last word in a heated discussion, make sure it's an apology. Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos. Maury,
Kadoosh.
there you go. Don't even ask after what time it is. He knows. He knows the magic word, Kiddush. I often feel that there should be a duck that should come off the ceiling. Right? Remember that?
Groucho Marx.
David, I knew it. I thought maybe Dennis had beat you to it. But nope.
But David's a Gansa Shikker, you know.
Yeah, was he?
A Gansa Shikker, but I hope I don't offend him.
Ooh, Groucho? He's dead.
Okay. He was very Jewish.
Very, very Jewish.
Okay.
All of his brothers.
So yeah, so was other.
All of them. The whole family. Vayer vayivoker yom hashishi, vayachulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzivam, vayachal Elohim v'yom hashvi'i melachto asher asa, vayishvot v'yom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asa, vayivarech Elohim et yom hashvi'i, vayikadesh oto, kivo Shabbat, Mikol melachto asher bara Elohim la'asot. Sabri. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. V'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava u'ratzon, inchilanu, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת, מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון, הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת.
Amen.
All right, we're on page 282. 282, Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateit keduha liotzer b'reshit, shalom asanu k'goyei ha'aratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot adama, shalom samenu gohem, v'goralenu kehol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצר הארץ, ומשה יקרא בשמיים עמהם, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים. Eloheinu Eloheinu, Emet Malkeinu Efres Ulato, Hakatu V'Torah, Yagat Hayom V'Hashemota, Elevavecha, Eloheinu Elohim, Bashamayim V'Mah, Haaretz mi'haaretz mi'tachatenu.
Nothing ever comes to this.
Hakatu b'toratecha, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. V'ne'eman, Elai Adonai, l'melech al kol ha'aretz, hayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemahu, Ushemo Echad. We are in the period of Shloshim for Pauline Kaplan, who was buried yesterday. This week, we observed the following yahrzeits: Don Koros, Betty's husband, father of David, Mark, Bob, and Brian. Nathan Kaplan, Saul's brother. Aaron Herbert, Harold's father, Alice's father-in-law. David Wolf, Barbara Levin's son. Jenny Cohen, David and Billy Glick's maternal grandmother. Isaac Himmelstein, Dennis Hamill's father. Ann Island, Ed's sister-in-law. Sylvia Finn Gerstein, Ron Poland's aunt. Patricia Hyman, Jack's wife, mother of Derek, Faith, Rebecca, Joshua, and David. Sam Ratowski, Harold Radow's father, Judy Woodruff's grandfather. Mildred Tobolowski, grandmother of Jason Solov. Charlotte Blackman Fish, wife of J.T. Fish, mother of Francis and Jackie, cousin of Pauline. Susan Margot Bro, Henry and Betsy's daughter, Pete's sister. Harold Kagan, Frida's husband, father of Drew, Brent, and Scott. Albert Schlossberg, related to the Macinter family. Rose Kaplan Teplis, Saul's sister. Beatrice Bear Weil, relative of Richard and Daphne Weil. Evelyn Weil, wife of Marty, mother of Mark and Michael. May their souls be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May their memories be a blessing to us all, and may they all rest in peace.
Amen.
Mourner's Cottage is found on page 249. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shnei Rabah, Be'alma, Divrach, Urtei, Yamlik Machutei, B'chayechon, B'yomechon, U'chayei, B'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agalav, Bizman Kariv, Yimru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabah, B'orach, Be'olam, L'omei Maya, Yitporach, Yishtabach, Yitpar, Yitramam, Yitnaseh, Yithadar, Yitalev, Yitalav, Shmei, Kedusha, Rechu, Le'eva, Mikol, Birchata, B'shirata, Tushbachata, B'nechamata, Ba'amiram, B'alma, B'imru, Amen. Yehei Shloma, Rabba, Min Shemaya, B'chayim Aleinu, B'al Kol Yisrael, B'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom, B'imrumav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu B'al Kol Yisrael, B'imru,
Amen.
Amen. All right, it is the month of Elul, and part of the month of Elul includes reading Psalm 27 in the morning and in the evening service, and then again in the morning service. Let's read this responsively. Adonai is my light and my help. Whom shall I fear? Adonai is the stronghold of my life. Whom shall I dread?
When the evildoers draw near to me to devour my flesh, my foes and enemies threaten, they trip and they fall.
Though armies besiege me, my heart shall not fear. Should war beset me, still do I trust.
One thing I do ask of Adonai is this, that I seek to dwell in the house of Adonai all the days of my life, to behold the Adonai's sweetness, and to gaze on God's house.
God hides me in God's shelter on the day of evil, conceals me in the recesses of God's tent. On a rock, God raises me up.
And now my head rises over my enemies around me, and the offering God's tent, sacrifices with joy, shouts, let me sing and hymn to Adonai.
Hear, O Lord, my voice when I call, and grant me peace and answer me.
Oh, you, my heart said, seek my face, your face, Lord, I do seek.
Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in wrath. You are my help. Abandon me not, nor forsake me, O God, my rescue.
Father and mother, forsake me, Adonai will gather me in.
Teach me, O Lord, your way, and lead me on a level path because of my adversaries.
Do not subject me to the will of my foes, for false witnesses against me, breathers of violence.
Had I not the assurance that I would enjoy the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living.
Hope for the Lord, let your heart be firm and bold, and hope for the Lord. Amen.
Lulehem anti lavo petuv Adonai be'eretz chaim, kaveh el Adonai, chazak yemetz libecha, v'kaveh el Adonai. Mourner's Cottage, one more time, page 294. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabah, Be'alma, Divrach, Urtei, Yamlik Machutei, B'chayechon, B'yomechon, B'chayei, B'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agalav, Bizman Kariv, Yimru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabah, B'orach, Le'olam, L'omei Maya. Yitporach, Yishtabach, Yitpar, Yitramam, Yitnaseh, Yithadar, Yitalev, Yitalav, Shmei, Kedusha, Rechu, Le'eva, Mikol, Birchata, B'shirata, Tushbachata, B'nechamata, Ba'amiram, B'alma, B'imru, Amen. Yehei Shloma, Rabba, Min Shemaya, B'chayim Aleinu, B'al Kol Yisrael, B'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom B'imrumav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu B'al Kol Yisrael, B'imru, Amen.
Amen.
All right, friends, Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
Just a couple of quick announcements. It is birthday and anniversary Shabbat, and it doesn't look like there are anyone present. No one present, and so this week I had full-size Hershey bars. Full size, not the little ones, full size.
My birthday in December.
They're not gonna last. They're not gonna last.
Next month.
All right, but we do have birthdays this month. We have Mark Miller, we have Nick Frieden, we have Rabbi Wutcher, Fred Silverstein, PJ Scar, Kevin Levine, Ed and Judy Woodruff. Not on the same day, 4 days, separate them, but those are the birthdays, and then anniversaries. We have Jim and Ruth Egel and Sidney Poland and Rick McLaughlin, and that's a 25th coming up. And for the Egels, 38. So those are big numbers. Those are big numbers. And so happy birthday and happy anniversary to all of these September celebrants. Services tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. and then again on Sunday at 9 a.m. No adult ed this Sunday, but next Sunday, not this coming Sunday, but a whole week from this Sunday. And the following Sunday, we'll have our prep for the high holidays. And one of the classes will be on Psalm 27, why we read it, why it's such a powerful psalm, why it's not often translated very well. And then the other one is the steps to tshuva through the Rambam, through Maimonides, how he envisions us preparing for the high holidays. So those are 2 weeks from this coming Sunday. Monday night, we'll have our deep dive into Genesis. Noach is ready to open his mouth for the first time in the entire parsha, and his words are less than comforting. So Noach is often held up as this great hero, and he doesn't open his mouth the entire portion. When God says, I'm going to destroy the world, Noach says nothing, thinking, well, as long as my family is safe, right? It's not until the end of the parsha where he actually curses one of his sons. Only words that come out of Noach's mouth in the entire parsha is a curse. This is why Jews do not trace their lineage to Noah, but rather Abraham. That's Monday, and then Wednesday, it's the best little Yiddish choir from coast to coast, the Yiddish choir with the most. Wednesday night here in the boardroom and on Zoom. So you can come in, get your Yiddish on, get your song on, or do it remotely. And I think that's it for the week. It's Labor Day, so I'll be wearing a white suit next week. No, I won't. You don't wear white after Labor Day. David, do you?
I don't wear white before Labor.
There you go, David. I don't wear white either.
I used to.
No. I am a stain. I'm like Pigpen in the Peanuts, right? There is dust and dog hair that follows me. And if I wear a white shirt, within 5 minutes of putting it on, there will be a spot on it. So dark colors always for me. And then we'll be back next Friday and Saturday and Sunday. So please join us for any and all classes and services. Do join us. We are open, and we'll leave a light on for you. So please come. All right, we'll close out with our final song this evening, 321, Adon Olam. Adon Olam Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, V'yein V'asa V'hefsa Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nivra, V'yacharet Kiflot HaKol, Levado Yilot Torah, V'hu Haya V'hu Hoveh, V'hu Yihye B'tifara, V'hu Echad V'yein Sheni, L'ham Shilo V'hachira, V'li Reshit V'li Tachlit, V'lo Ha'oz V'ha'misra, V'hu Eli, V'chai Go'alim, V'tzor Hevli V'yetzara, V'hu Nisi Umanosli, Menat Kosi V'yomekra, V'yahado Akid Ruchi, V'eti shantiahira, v'imruchi v'viati, Adonai li Elohira. All right, let's see. Oh, we do have some people saying hello to us via the interwebs. Let's see who they are tonight. Jenny Bro, Shabbat Shalom, wishing everyone an enjoyable Labor Day weekend. Thank you, Jenny, to you and well. There's Mom, Shabbat Shalom to all from Rabbi's Mom and Cliff. Thanks, Mom and Cliff. Hope all have a safe and enjoyable holiday weekend. Thanks. Donna Wilson, hope everyone has a peaceful Shabbat and a safe weekend. Thank you, same to you, Donna. And ML, there's Marilyn and Herman. Wish all a good Shabbat and a week of peace. Thank you, ML and Herman. We appreciate that, and same to you. All right, friends, Shabbat Shalom and
Shabbat
good
Shalom.
Shabbos. We'll see you soon, and please be safe out there.
Walk with the Lord, absolutely. That's a little Christian saying. That's all.